2024, at least the very beginning of it, will be known as the crypto coin bull run, first one since 2021. I mean, stock market's doing good to start the year, but one guy who's hurting, and one guy who is hurting real bad, is that swine born in 1971, Elon Musk. But before we go into Elon, I want to tell you a little bit about my history. In 2007, when I was living in Cleveland, Ohio, I went up to the Browns, Cleveland Cavs, and Cleveland Indians. And the Cleveland Indians were very respectful. Thank you, Mark Shapiro. He's with Toronto now, I believe. The Cleveland Browns and Phil Savage, that was a fucking head case. These guys are fucking nuts. I literally told the Cleveland Browns to draft Adrian Peterson in 2007. Said he was going to be the next best thing to Jim Brown. No one listened to me. But none of them went as far as Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert is the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. And no one I dealt with went as far as Dan Gilbert to try to punish me. Let me explain. 2007, me and him had email exchanges. He basically promised me he'd do something if something happened. Once Gilbert Arenas got injured, he basically went back on his word and called Cleveland Cavalier security Howard Cross on me, and I was effectively barred from the Cleveland Cavs arena. I didn't step foot inside that arena again until 2015 when my Golden State Warriors took the title from this fucking son of a bitch. Now, what happened? You guys can go on YouTube and Google Gary the Numbers Guy, Dan Gilbert. And you're going to hear a recording from 2010. This is 3 years after my initial conversation with Dan Gilbert. I was a local celebrity in Cleveland, Ohio, and Dan Gilbert basically called in the radio station in 2010 when I said LeBron James was leaving Cleveland. Now, most people said he was not going anywhere. Most people said he was staying in Cleveland. And when I went on the radio and I said he was gone, people started panicking. So much so that the owner of the Cavs, Dan Gilbert, actually called in and started saying, I'm wrong. He's going to light up like Vegas. Again, you can Google that on YouTube. It is Gary the Numbers Guy, Dan Gilbert. You'll see it right there. Anyways, what happened is after I was proven right a couple weeks later and Dan Gilbert basically was made a fool of in the media, well, he called my boss at the time. His name was Belfie, a liberal sack of shit, but he was my boss at the time. I worked for a place called Cleveland Sports Talk. It was an internet radio station, and I was the number one person on that radio station with the best ratings. I mean, you want to go back and hear where all this mouthpiece and all this stuff came from. It was right there. And what happened was, after I made a fool of Dan Gilbert called up Mr. Belfie and said, listen, if you want your credentials to go see the Cavs as a member of the press, you're going to have to fire Gary. Well, I can't blame Mr. Belfie for that one. You know, if he was put in the tough position, and what happened? He got me fired. Well, I went on the Cleveland radio and just blasted Dan Gilbert. He can't really do anything about that because the guy who was running the top radio show on that channel was named Mike Trevisano, R.I.P. And he basically let me go on and say whatever I wanted because I was great radio. So, basically, I'm out of a job. I don't have money. I have a little bit of popularity. I have to decide, how the fuck am I going to get even with this billionaire? I mean, I don't have the money to do anything with him. Can't really physically do anything. How am I going to get back at this piece of shit? Well, I came up with an idea. And starting in 2011, I started going to Las Vegas for NBA Summer League. And I started going up to GMs and coaches and all that stuff. Because, with the NBA, during the Summer League, you can actually go up to these guys. You're not going to do that at the Pro Bowl. You're not going to do that at the baseball combine. You're not going to do it at any other sport. But in the NBA, you can actually go out to these people in Vegas. They're right there, and you can start talking to them. I started basically talking numerology and astrology to a few people who were low-level assistants for NBA players and, coaches and all sorts of stuff. Well, those low-level assistants in 2011 became somebody's in 2013. And in 2013, I'm looking at the Golden State Warriors, and I see this kid, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, wow, this numerology with these two is perfect. They just need one more piece. One more piece. And that piece was Andre Iguodala. Those people in 2011 who I kept talking about numerology and astrology, well, they worked for Andre. And by 2013, I had pull. So they convinced Andre to go to Golden State instead of Memphis. And the GM of the Warriors at the time, the NBA logo, Jerry West, who was a mentor to the people I started talking to and convincing numerology is real and who's our GG33 members now, they made it happen. Andre Iguodala was traded and he signed with the Golden State Warriors in 2013. In 2015, it was Golden State and my hometown Cleveland Cavaliers. Can you imagine I'm banned from their arena, but the Golden State Warriors are the ones giving me tickets to get in? I'm not kidding you. That's how it basically went. And Andre Iguodala ended up winning the MVP in 2015. The Warriors beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. And all those emails I sent to Dan Gilbert, basically, motherfucker, I cost you a championship. That's how I got even with a billionaire who got me fired. I cost him multiple titles. Yes, the Cavs won in 2016, just like I said they would. But, oh, by the way, I took a lot of heat from my guys in Golden State for doing that. But 2017, 2018, they took more titles away from the Cavs. People can say this right now. LeBron James is 4-6 in the NBA Finals. If it wasn't for me, he'd most likely be 7-3 in the NBA Finals and be known as the GOAT. And LeBron, it wasn't personal, brother. I was getting my revenge against Dan Gilbert. And Dan Gilbert basically lost 3 championships. Not only that, I hexed him. He caught a stroke and his kid died. Now, a lot of you guys will be like, whoa, what the f-? But did I f- with this man? No. I just basically stated fact. LeBron James was leaving Cleveland, and he got me fired for being right. So I don't feel sorry for the son of a at all. That was the first billionaire who f- with me. That was the first one. A couple others have been gone and go throughout the years. But then came Elon Musk. Elon Musk personally blocked this Twitter account a long time ago. Elon never liked me. When that swine bought Twitter, I knew eventually I'd be gone. It doesn't matter if it's the right-wingers running this or left-wingers. No one likes a truth-sayer, especially one like me who does not give up. So what happened is I knew eventually at some point I'd get suspended on Twitter. Like at first I thought maybe, it was one of those 1-2 day suspensions. I get my account back. I went to numerous people who are very high up at Twitter, and they basically got many people unblocked, many people's accounts reinstated. I paid them, and they returned all my money. Nothing was stolen from me. I didn't get played. They were actually men of honor. They basically told me the only people who can put a block that high past them is maybe 1 to 20 people, and one of those 20 people is Elon Musk. So 100% unequivocally, Elon Musk shut my account. But guess what, guys? I was expecting this. So what people have to understand is the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And because of Elon's hate towards me and vice versa, I've gotten in contact with pretty much all his enemies. Pretty much every single person who hates Elon, including some of the richest people in the world, I have gotten in contact with. And in the past 2 months when my Twitter account was suspended, I've been fucking getting people together. Networking, if I, would say. Networking for the downfall of someone. Now, I'm not going to go into details because we're not going to fucking tell people what our game plan is. But here's what it comes down to. Elon Musk is going to lose a lot of money. Now, he's always going to be a billionaire. There's nothing I can do to stop him and, take him back to the $300 million range. But he's not going to be the world's richest man, and that's probably never going to happen again. Elon Musk, since the beginning of 2024, has lost over $100 million. Tesla shares are down 33%. He owns over 20% of Tesla. That's a big fucking haircut. Huge fucking haircut. Elon Musk lost his compensation package with the Delaware court system, which is something Joe Biden did. And again, I'm not a big fan of Joe Biden, but in this case, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So good looking, Joe. And Joe Biden cost him about $56 million, not to mention a Tesla factory in Germany was arson, cost about $1 billion in damage. Elon Musk, since Fine GG33 was suspended on January 18th, about 2 months, he has lost over $100 billion. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you guys think I had nothing to do with that behind the scenes, you're out of your fucking mind. Do you know how many billionaires hate Elon? Do you have any idea how many billionaires I've given readings to in the past 3, 4, 5 years? Especially in the past year. They all come to me. I mean, who else is going to afford me? I charge $2,000 for fucking 45-minute reading. Who else is going to afford me? By the way, if you want a reading from a GG33 member, they charge $233, and you can go to GG33 classes, and you can sign up with GG33 readers who I've personally trained. Going back to what I was saying before, though. If you want to make some money, you should have been doing it since January, but if you want to make some money, short Tesla stock. They're fucking done. Tesla, it has a breaking point at 68. If the shares go below 68, Elon will either lose Tesla or he'll be forced to sell X to raise capital to save Tesla. It's going to be one of the two. And since Wells Fargo already said his shares are going to about 44 next year, that 68 mark most likely is going to get hit. And at that point, Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos, who are teaming up, by the way, right now, will purchase Twitter. It will be, I'm not sure exactly how it'll work, but it will be half owned by Amazon, half owned by Meta. And I'm sure a lot of conservatives are here going to cry. It's going to go back to censorship. And guess what? I was censored under both regimes. I don't give a fuck. And for most people, yeah, I'm sure Elon was a little bit better for you guys. I'm sure he is. But you know what I've noticed? Porn is out of fucking control under Elon. These OnlyFans hoes. Pussy in bio. All this shit. That Elon did all of that. Elon did every bit of that. He does not give a fuck. You might as well fucking call Twitter fucking Pornhub XL. That's what the fuck it is. So, Elon Musk, you piece of fucking shit, who sacrificed his own child in 2002 to become rich and fucking famous. A deal most of us would never even consider. That's what Elon did. Elon, I never liked you. You never liked me. But there is no reason to suspend me. Alex Jones, pornography, all sorts of shit is legal on Twitter. But you went after me and you did it personally. And unlike 2011, when Dan Gilbert did this to me, I actually have friends in high places now. And it's not so much that they like me or they're all, basically like, oh yeah, Roo, Garrett, we're going to get this guy back for you. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with that I am forming a coalition of your fucking enemies. Go hack into my email, you fucking piece of shit. You'll see all about it. Every fucking person who's your enemy, I either got their phone number or their email. Every single one. And I got to tell you, one of the reasons I started GG33 Academy was because Tate was talking shit. Numerology and astrology isn't real. So, you know what? Fuck you, nigga. I'm going to fucking take GG33 Academy and make it the number one occult school in the world. That's exactly what I did. And Tate's been going in and out of jail a few times since. His life is going to hell. He will never be the influencer he once was. And what does Dan Gilbert, Andrew Tate, and Elon Musk all have in common? They all fuck with me. There's 3 ways to fight a war. Politically and with money is one of them. I can't match people like that. A lot more people have a lot more money. I mean, I don't even have it a fucking $1 billion. I'm not even close to a fucking $1 billion. I'm in the 1%. I'm in the 0.1%, but I'm nowhere near $1 billion. So I can't match people like that. The other way to do is physically. Fighting. Now, to all the haters on Twitter who talk shit, I beat the fuck out of 85% of you, even at my age. But, let's face it, I'm not going hand-to-hand combat with Tate or fucking Elon Musk bodyguards, so that's a no-go either. And then there's the last one. And the last one is the most potent. It's spiritual warfare. All of us go to sleep. All of us dream. And when that happens, all of us are susceptible to certain things. Elon, you fuck with the wrong person. By next year, you're not even going to be in a 100 million club anymore. It's either going to be Tesla, SpaceX, or Twitter. You're giving up one of them. You fucking miserable piece of shit. I want you to know this, Elon. Suspend this account. I don't give a fuck. You have an enemy for fucking life.